Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Tuesday, we've got more Fight Front news for you today. We've got front kicks, awkward interviews and crystals. News. Malley has a fight July 2nd with Pedro Munoz, and he's calling him Prelim Pedro.
Oh, super. You look at his last couple losses, I mean, they're to former world champions, Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar. He's not losing to some scrubs. I think Prelim Pedro is the real deal. I think it's my toughest opponent to date, 100%.
He did give him props, even though apparently he is a prelim guy. Just not a big draw, but he does expect an early finish.
Some people don't mind, going to decisions, and not me. I want to go out there and put his lights out. I'm definitely looking to go out there and get my hand raised with a finish.
He's finally also stepping inside the top 10, which means as well he's probably being paid what he thinks. He didn't want to be 10-10 fighting high-ranked guys, and who can blame him?
When I first got in the UFC, I'm getting 10-10, 12-12, whatever I'm getting. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense to go and fight these top guys for 20-20. But yeah, obviously I'd rather fight worse guys for less money.
And talk about a big change, he's now talking about fighting for a title early next year in 2023. So
2 more finishes, early 2023, I'm fighting for the belt, whoever has it. I gotta finish Pedro, and I go out there and say I finished Pedro, I get, top 5 guy, whoever that is.
And apparently if Chito plays his cards right, then Sean will maybe give him a rematch.
He knocked out Frankie. Then he went out there and he looked really good against Rob. So yeah, he definitely proved and he's earned that rematch. People hate when I say that. It's true, he earned it.
In terms of the title picture, he did give praise to Jan and Aljo, but he did kind of say some people, I guess, just aren't likable.
I was not surprised. I know Peter's really good, but I also know Aljo's really good. I think he's respectably the champ. Aljo got booed at the fights. Some people just aren't likable, I guess.
Also, apparently, if you think you're stretching right, well, let me tell you, you're stretching wrong, because he's the one with the real information.
If you've never fucking smoked and stretched, you're missing out on life. It's one of the best things ever. Just get ripped and just feel your body, feel like every little soreness, and stretching stoned is one of my favorite things.
And of course, what's everybody's favorite thing that fighters talk about?
What?
MMA fighters doing boxing. Yeah. Guess what? That's what Sean wants to do. He did say that a lot of people have been doing it wrong, though, apparently, mainly Francis Ngannou. He reckons he should be communicating and trying to negotiate with the UFC a little bit better.
I think if I could build my stock, build my name big enough as like a Connor, I would love to fucking box. I can box really well. I don't think Francis is going the right way about it. I would like to be, partnered with UFC and do something like that.
I think he's trying, Sean. Aljo, Henry Cejudo, and DC sat down for a bit of a strange and somewhat awkward interview, but we got a few tidbits out of it. It was in Cejudo's house and he was talking a lot more than anybody else, and we also got to see his trophy cabinet. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of gold.
You see all those belts? You see all those state titles on the bottom there? Between me and my brother, we have 8.
It was a polite conversation, but he did call him Aljo lame.
Oh, no way! Oh. Can I give you a little intro here, Aljo lame?
They went back and forth, but he basically alluded to the fact that Aljo's just a stepping stone. Yep, he wants to fight Volkanovski and get a 3rd UFC title in Australia, apparently.
You'll never be a better competitor than me. I had Demetrius Johnson over at my house, like, do you know why I beat you, Demetrius? I said, I was just a better competitor than you. No offense to Aljo, man, congratulations. I'm actually really happy that you won the belt, I really am. I think Corey would probably be the one that would probably complicate things more.
You think Corey Sandhagen, who he submitted in 1 round, would be the toughest fight in the division for you?
Yeah, but I still take him out. My goal was to fight Alexander Volkanovski in Australia.
He did give a rare apology to Aljo, though. He said maybe he was a bit too harsh on him after the first fight and acknowledged that Jan cheated. But in the second fight, he said, Peter's got some holes in his wrestling game, and it's no surprising, really, that Aljo was able to exploit them.
It wasn't his fault, and that motherfucker did cheat. He did fucking hit him in with the knee. I'm not judging you according to the fight that you had with him a year and a half ago. I'm judging you according to your last fight. Peter Yan has a big fucking hole in his game, and it's called wrestling. And if nobody's able to expose that, then shame on them.
Jan don't cheat. He's just confused. Pretty dick move, basically saying the only reason he's a champion is because Jan doesn't have very good wrestling. If it's that bad, Henry, why don't you take him down a training facility, sort him out? Aljo, though, didn't really have much to say. He seemed pretty uncomfortable the whole time. At one point, even DC was basically just talking for him.
Does everybody have a puncher's chance? Of course.
You cannot say that he has a puncher's chance.
It's the game.
First off, he doesn't.
It's the game, but the same reason why, DC, that it keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, but champ.
He did try and talk a little bit of shit about Henry's previous opponents, but he kind of realized they were all good and backtracked quite quickly.
The difference I feel like between my run to the top and Cejudo's the guys he fought compared to the guys I fought were all winning and on win streaks at the time that we competed.
What about the TJ fight? I mean, he beat TJ Dillashaw in the way that he did. And he got Cruz, and he got Cruz in 2 rounds or 1 round?
2 rounds.
And Cruz.
And that put Marlon Moraes away.
Aljo did say that he does have an advantage on the ground, at least in his opinion. He's got a size advantage, but he's not an Olympian, so we'll see how that one plays out.
But I would pick you up off of your feet. Like literally pick you up over your feet.
Probably could pick you up. You want to drive you?
I mean, if I get double underhooks, I think you're going for a ride. That's just my take.
Real quick.
And to close, DC basically made a direct appeal to the matchmakers and the UFC to make this fight. As if that wasn't already in consideration, I guess he's just trying to circumnavigate this whole Henry Cejudo renegotiation contract process and appeal to you, the fans.
UFC, Sean Shelby, Dana White, whoever else, Hunter Campbell, call this man. Get these 2 dudes signed up to fight, and let's see who's the true bantamweight champion in the world.
Michael Chandler sat down with Pat McAfee on Monday morning to go through the details of 274. He said while warming up backstage, he blocked a kick and dislocated his finger.
About 20-30 minutes before the fight, blocking a kick, threw a normal kick like he's done 1,000 times at me, and it ended up going fingernail all the way back.
He again acknowledged that he never throws that kick or trains it, and it was kind of just a rangefinder, but he will now be training it apparently. But a pretty honest opinion there from Chandler.
It's actually hilarious because it's not something I train a lot. I honestly threw it out there for a rangefinder, but turns out I threw it with some ill intent, and it landed right on the chin, and he crumbled, and the rest is history.
Honestly, it's honestly amazing when fighters are just honest. Yep, he called out Conor after the fight on Saturday and on Monday with McAfee. He was talking more about it at 170 apparently, either that or Nate Diaz or even Charles Oliveira in a 5-rounder for the title again, if people do want to see that.
Conor needs to come back and fight someone extremely talented and extremely exciting, a guy who makes people feel something. I have quickly become that guy.
But there are other people in this division. When asked about the weight miss, he says he never gives the benefit of the doubt. He says the process starts 6 weeks out from the fight, not the night before. So yeah, he's not putting this one down to anything else other than a lack of professionalism, pretty much.
I will definitely never, ever give the benefit of the doubt that it's a possibility, man. I have weighed in now 30 times in mixed martial arts, and I have never missed weight. When you become the champion, you have even more of a reputation to uphold, and making weight is the first commitment that you make.
That's an amateur wrestling perspective for you. And then we got Carla Esparza on the MMA Hour, who was apparently in a fight this weekend. I didn't see it.
Doesn't check out.
I don't know. Apparently she did what she could as safely as she could to win the fight, but even she couldn't really tell what rounds she won.
Yeah, I think that round 1 was really close. It's hard to say. I know that I won round 4, maybe round 2, round 1. I don't know. They're kind of like all pretty similar, to be honest.
When asked about the criticism, she said, yeah, I mean, I knew there'd be criticism. I could hear them booing the shit out of me when I was in the cage, basically.
When I was in the fight, like, I was just like, is this really happening? Like, after each round, I was almost like in a lot of disbelief. Like, I think as a veteran, you just gotta like fight your fight and, not let the crowd really like affect what the smart move to make is.
Rose talked a lot this week about staying mentally composed, but according to Carla, yep, she lost the fight in her own head, was a bit too mentally afraid of the takedown, apparently.
I definitely feel that she lost the fight to herself, but she was worried about the takedown and like very like focused on that and didn't fight her game.
They talked a little bit about a trilogy with Rose, but I really don't think anyone wants to see that fight at the moment. She wants a rematch with Joanna if she can get past Whaley.
That would be like such a great moment to really just come back and fight like my fight, and I feel like I've come such a long way since then, and I definitely feel like it would be a different fight. And what is that called? Sweet revenge or sweet justice, whatever you call it.
Jared Cannonier came on the MMA Hour to give some sage advice. Spiritually, I always feel whole whenever I see him.
When did the news get awesome?
Jared Cannonier jumped on the MMA Hour to talk about the fight announcement with Izzy. He says he's not getting too overexcited, going to treat this like any other fight. Got to control those energies, Jared.
Much like any other contract, to be honest.
This is a title fight.
Yes, it's a title fight, and but I don't want to, put all extra weight on this thing. The way I approach a fight is good enough, but I don't want to waste extra energy on being excited. I want to waste energy on getting prepared, physically and mentally.
Because the universe is a powerful thing. It's me controlling the energy. He doesn't want to assume that Izzy is going to be his toughest fight because assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. Apart from fucking up. Yeah, I suppose that is right, isn't it?
I'm not really going to assume anything. Like I said before, I want to make it easy. Easy out of Sonya, that's what I want.
He was cage side, of course, on Saturday, but people kind of noticed he didn't look like he was having that much fun. I don't know why. I mean, he was next to Maddie and Polly. Damn it, I got that wrong, didn't I? Paddy and Molly. I mean, Paddy and Molly, come on. Either way, apparently he had beer spilt on him. His wife left halfway through, just maybe not a good time, you know, but he's not there to judge anyone.
Like I said, I'm not there to be a part of the circus. I'm there to watch. I'm not a big party animal or anything like that. I'm certainly not drinking at this point in time. They was doing them, and I can't hate on them. I ain't finna sit here and judge nobody based off of doing what they do, based off of their upbringing and experiences. Shit.
Apart from when he clearly judged them there, yeah. He said he was just trying to protect his energy, all right? He said he's not gonna focus on Izzy's weaknesses. He's just gonna focus on himself, and he expects a finish.
I want a flawless victory and a fatality. If he gives me a limb and that's a means of finishing, I'm gonna take it.
Jared is visualizing the title with his family. Hopefully it comes true. Crystal power. Joe Lauzon had a pretty rough time this weekend, was supposed to fight Donald Cerrone, who unfortunately got food poisoning and didn't make the contest. They basically also had to drag him cage side because he just didn't want to be there. He kind of had a feeling that something might be going wrong all week. When he saw Cerrone, he said he looked like a raisin. It's a dried up piece of fruit.
And he looked rough. Like he just looked like, you could tell he was already kind of miserable. Like he was already dehydrating a little bit. It was already like, I'm sure he was on limited food, stuff like that. You could see it right away.
He had a very humanizing perspective on the fight. Talked about putting everything into a training camp, putting his business aside, all to this one night, this one moment. And when it doesn't happen, I mean, it fucking sucks.
I tried to do my best not to cry. Of course, I did cry a little bit. There's all this effort that's been put into this. You know, like we knew about this fight like the first week in like February. You know what I mean? So we've been training so hard for so long. There's so much stress that kind of goes into all this stuff of trying to like manage everything.
They're trying to sort the rematch out for that one, but apparently Donald's off to Thailand to shoot a film, so who knows when. Bruise 2, baby.
Oh my God!
As for Cowboy, he jumped on Instagram, posted a little video explaining kind of how he's feeling, what went wrong, and just apologizing to everyone, really.
My heart is broken and torn. I cannot believe I had to make that call.
He also said he wants to get 50 fights before he's all said and done. So he's on 48, which is...
That's 2 more.
Two more. 2 more.
Figured it out.
There we go.
My number is 50, gentlemen. Then I'm bowing out. I'm out of here, boys.
Fight announcements. Oh. Kai Kara France is getting a big fight against Brandon Moreno. Yep, Figgy Moreno 4, that's off the table. And now we're getting a new matchup, which should be a very good fight. It's July 30th, it's gonna be a banger. The brother of Gilbert, Herbert Burns, just signed a new contract and he's agreed to fight a brand new signing to the UFC. A 23-0 undefeated Chechen by the name of Hussein Ashabov. He's coming over from WWFC, he was the champion over there. His nickname is the Lion, and he's here to eat everybody.
Wait, the
The WWFC, not pro wrestling. He was supposed to make an appearance on the Dana White Contender Series last year against Joanderson Brito, but had visa issues, so now we get to see him live against Mr. Burns. Should be coming up soon. Excellent. On a positive note, Tony Ferguson seems to be doing just fine after the Saturday KO loss. What's a better way to show that? Well, talk shit on Twitter, really, isn't it? Yeah. He called out Dustin Poirier because apparently he's not being active enough. At least Tony's getting in there, even if he is getting knocked out, you know. Charles Oliveira reached out on Twitter. He said he can come down to Sao Paulo, train at Shooter Box anytime he wants. Called him a brother. It's very nice to see. Habib's promotion, Eagle FC, looks like they're coming over to the US. They applied in Florida for 5 separate shows, so hopefully we'll finally see some Eagle FC in America. Fly like an eagle.
Ooh, hey, just. Come on, trust me, you'll feel.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will be back on Thursday with more fight news. Now go home and practice your front kicks.